So from my description, it is likely that you get this idea that epidemiology is concerned with diseases. Yes, but to expound on that, you need to also think about the fact that the way we understand diseases these days has actually changed. Diseases are no longer looked at as conditions that are communicable in nature. That is, there should be an agent that causes particular diseases. That was actually, if you look at the history of epidemiology, that was the genesis. Okay, so epidemiology in early years focused on communicable diseases. Okay, so with that history and my description, you could really see that epidemiology is about communicable diseases. And what are the things that we do with communicable diseases is basically understanding what diseases are happening in a particular population. So that is an issue to do with disease surveillance. But also understanding which agents are causing what diseases. That is to do with identifying the causative agents. So is it a bacteria? If it is a bacteria, which bacteria are we talking about? So investigation of disease-causing agents, investigating communicable disease outbreaks, identifying what risk factors are associated with acquiring certain diseases. Okay, but now the extent to which epidemiology looks at diseases is actually widening. Okay, so we look at diseases as being caused by the earlier on aspect of social determinants of health. So looking at those factors and how they influence health, issues to do with the race, level of income, level of education, where people go to school, where they work, where they stay. Okay, so epidemiology also aligns in that area of investigation, issues to do with social determinants of health, and identifying the risk factors for getting particular diseases. Okay, and how these social determinants of health are linked to the occurrence of particular diseases. That is very key. We have already talked about evaluation of these interventions, setting up policies, and then health disparities. But still going back, our understanding of diseases is not only limited to communicable diseases. It also applies to, let us say, injuries, let us say non-communicable diseases, but also to, in the aspect of non-communicable disease, some of these diseases are actually linked to, let us say, genetic aspects. Okay, so issues to do with genetic epidemiology as a branch of epidemiology, molecular epidemiology, nutritional epidemiology. All these are the different branches of epidemiology. This is to emphasize that epidemiology can be applied in a number of fields, including occupational epidemiology. Okay, so if we are to look at how broad or epidemiology is, it is extensively broad and it is applied in many areas. So let's look at the two main divisions of epidemiology, which we actually have already looked at, but it's just a matter of emphasis. When we talk about descriptive epidemiology, we are answering questions that are not linked to finding what causes what. With descriptive epidemiology, our focus is on knowing who is suffering from what. Okay, who is suffering from what? So we want to know the categories of people who are suffering from particular diseases. When do they get these diseases? Okay, and then so it is about the who, where, and then when. So this description can be in terms of numbers, but we are not really focusing on what leads to the occurrence of this particular condition in a particular population. We are not answering that with descriptive. That can be answered with the analytical epidemiology. So we are saying that so and so is suffering from this, and that is because of A or because of B. So this is basically to say that we are finding linkages between risk factors and the health outcomes or a health event. You can say we are investigating the exposures with the health events. We want to know the person is having a disease X. Where is it coming from? Or the person is exposed to a chemical X. What disease are they likely to have? So that is analytical. So the difference between the two is the other one is basically describing and not answering the question related to the linkage, whereas analytical is actually looking at where is the link. Okay, so we have those two different branches or major divisions of epidemiology: descriptive and analytical epidemiology.